My name is Mario Bruni. I'm the president of Bruni Campisi Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in White Plains, New York. Bruni Campisi is a plumbing, heating, and air conditioning service contractor dealing primarily with residential and light commercial customers. We provide service, retrofits, and repairs.
Bruni Campisi, may I help you?
We're here to service the customer, and that's our primary concern. We recognize that we're doing something that's technical. We do plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, but we recognize that we're also working in homes, working in offices, and we are providing a service, and that's what comes first. AMS first contacted us in July of 2001 with the letter from indicating that they were with the Council of Mayors. We responded, and by August we were in contract with them and had begun the process of working with American Management Services. They had a team come to our office and they worked with us from August until the end of January of 2002. The process was long, it was involved, but it was worthwhile. I was a technician that was on the road, and my partner was a technician on the road. We decided to start a company. We did, and we were successful, and we hired some more people, and we got a little bit larger and a little bit larger, and pretty soon we were at a point where we needed middle management. We started to hire that middle management, but it quickly ran out of control. At that point, we were literally teetering on the brink of extinction. We were cash poor. We were extended with our suppliers 90, 120 days. We were struggling to make payroll on a weekly basis. We had a huge accounts receivable, and we didn't know, we weren't making any money. Certainly we were making 1.5% at the end of each preceding year. We didn't know why we needed to stay into this business, because it certainly wasn't worth all the aggravation and the time we were putting into it. We had to do something, and fortunately AMS came in and helped us a great deal with that, and literally brought us back. Our company was in dire straits, and I and my partner were under a great deal of pressure. And what we didn't realize was that pressure was not only on us, and not only pressing down on us, but it was pressing on every one of our employees. Because as the administration gets pressured, you act differently, and your employees feel that pressure all the way down to the line employees. There was a whole different atmosphere in our company. Our company was tense, our company was nervous. Everyone knew we were having a tough time. Everyone knew we were struggling. And that creates a whole negative atmosphere in the company. It's a very tense, tight atmosphere. Also, we were cash poor, so there was very little we could do. So it was tough. Once AMS came in and they worked with us and they got us to a point where we were no longer cash poor, we had made a great strides with our collections. We were turning the company around and becoming profitable. The pressure on us just was shed immediately, and it became a whole different atmosphere in the company, because we weren't pressuring our employees, so they were feeling better. We were no longer cash poor, so we could do things for the employees. We could do things, positive things for the company. We could make life a lot more pleasant for everyone in the company, which is what happened. And that changed the entire atmosphere. Instead of dreading coming to work in the morning for my partner and I, instead of dreading coming to work because we had so much pressure to be under and we were under the gun every day, it was a pleasure to come to work because we were being successful. When we brought AMS in fact, when we talked to any of the consultants, one of our first concerns was, do these people really understand our business? I mean, do they have any clue as to what we are doing in the plumbing, heating, and air conditioning business? They are business people. They're graduates of business schools. Do they understand what we're doing with the nuts and bolts of our industry? And can they really apply it, their know-how, to what we do? And can we apply what we do to how they think we should do it? And that was a problem for us. And it turned out that the big problem was in our thinking. Business is business, and every business has to operate in a certain fashion, whether it's selling widgets or whether it's doing plumbing or whether it's being an accountant or a dentist. You're still running a business, and it has to be run in a certain fashion. There are certain things that have to be done. There are certain financials that have to be created. There's certain collections that have to be done. There's incentives for your employees. There's all types of things, but it really, once you get away from whether it's a plumbing business or whether it's a dental business or what it is, it's still a business. So what they did really did apply. When AMS first came here for the survey, they spent a couple of weeks here going over our processes, going over our personnel, going over our paperwork and financials. And I was very surprised that at the end of that 2-week period, they were able to bring to us at a meeting all the problems that we recognized that we had. It wasn't a revelation. It was surprising. The problems that they brought up were not a revelation. It was surprising that they picked them all up in 2 weeks. They brought in people that were experts in the various fields where we were having problems. If it was dealing with our cash picture, they brought in an expert for that. If it was dealing with our warehousing and our inventory, they brought in an expert for that. I don't know that there was another company that we had talked to that could have brought in that kind of expertise to the table for what we needed. We went from a 1.5% net profit at the end of each corporate year to typically a 10% or very close to 10% net profit each year. In fact, we've just gone through the last 2 years, which were a very, very difficult economy, and our company, like everyone else, experienced a drop in revenue, a considerable drop in revenue. However, because we were able to stay on top of what was happening with our company, know what was going on with the company on a very fast basis, we were able to stay ahead of it, and we continue to show not quite a 10%, but I think about an 8.5% profit over the last 2 years. We have several programs that AMS instituted here and helped us provide for the company, and we still use to this day. The first and foremost is a daily flash report that I receive typically at about 1:30 every afternoon, and it's basically a flash financial report as to where the company stood as of 5 p.m. the day before. It's just a snapshot of all receivables, payables, sales, proposals, things like that, just so I can get a real pulse of what's going on so we can stay right on top of it. Prior to the institution of the flash report and several other reports that they helped us with, we were receiving our financials, our end-of-the-month financials, typically 4 or 5 weeks after the end of the month. By then, what I was getting in a report was basically ancient history, and I couldn't really react. We couldn't react to what was happening in the company because that had happened 5 weeks ago, and we'd already gone through another month, another billing cycle. So we were always behind the 8 ball, which was typical in our industry. Collections, accounts receivable would be left alone for a long period until it became a problem, and then it would be addressed, but then it would be far too late for many of them. So they taught us that we have to stay on top of these things on a weekly basis, and we do now. They've instituted some other things for us too, and that is, for instance, incentive plans for our personnel, incentive plans for our line employees, incentive plans for our middle management. We still use those to this day, and basically it's called pay for performance for our managers. We provide some goals for them and put a price tag on those goals, and once they've achieved those goals within the time frames allotted, the bonuses are paid. It's working very, very well. We've also instituted bonus plans for all of our people in the company, a share plan for our people, not a share of stock, but a share in the profits, which has worked marvelously with all of our people. It's gotten everyone motivated to work towards the same goal and have the same goal in mind, and that's having the company be profitable. And that's worked very well for us. It was hard work. And it was revealing. I did feel like we'd bared our chest, and they did find out all the anomalies of our company, which was great, because we dealt with all those anomalies, and they taught me how I should deal with it. Basically, they taught me how to be a manager. We really haven't worked with them since 2002. However, we continue to utilize the processes. It's really been my intention to bring them in again. I feel that now that they've gotten us firmly to the 10% level, I would like to get it to the next level. I think there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to bring this company to a 15% level. And I think AMS can help me do that. We had discussed this some time ago at their first go-around here. But obviously we needed to get to walk before we could run. And they got us now to where we're walking, and we're walking every day. So I'd like to see if we can now get on the track team. This area here I have to, of course, thank AMS. I think without our having worked with AMS, we probably wouldn't be here right now. We were teetering at the brink of extinction when they first got here. They were actually more positive about the fact that they could get us over the hump than we were. We thought this just might be an exercise in futility, and it might be time to lock the doors up shortly. They not only showed us that that was wrong, they took us to where we were 10% profitable and had a viable, growing company again, and we were thrilled with that. And would I ever work with them again? Absolutely. I thought what they did with us was fabulous.